We're going to start reading John chapter 10, verse 11. It says, I am the good shepherd. Who are they referring to?
The Lord.
The Lord, God, Jesus? Yes. All right, here it is. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd who owns the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not in the sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. Now, this passage here is talking about the good shepherd, and Jesus is referring to himself as a good shepherd as one who cares for the sheep, right? And he talks about how no one takes his life from him. He lays it down willingly, referring to John 3:16, one of the most highly quoted passages in all the Bible, where it says, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, being Jesus, that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. Jesus did that for us. He laid down his life for us willingly. Everybody say willingly. Willingly. So here's my question for today. Today starts off the first Sunday in February, and the question is very easy. What is love? Donovan, what's love, man?
The liking of another person.
The liking of another person. What's love?
It's like an affection filled towards another person.
An affection filled towards another person. Good. What is love?
It's just a feeling, man.
It's a feeling, dog. What's love? Come on, more definitions.
It's when my hands get all sweaty and my tongue swells.
Okay, buddy. What's love?
Being passionate towards another person.
Being passionate towards another.
Being there for somebody, like always going to be there for a person.
Okay. Any other definitions of love here? Because right now, we've got some very...
Helping or giving something to somebody without them having to ask.
Okay, helping or giving without them having to ask, that's love. Okay. These are all very good. I love the interaction. Let's keep this going today, okay? So I'm going to add questions onto this, okay? So you guys are giving your definitions of love, yes? Everyone's definition may be a little bit different than someone else's, right? The definitions of love, according to you, may be different than you. Guys' definitions of love and girls' definitions of love are also surprisingly different. Somebody tell me, why is that? What? Uh-huh. Yep. So they're emotionally different, right? There was this book I read once, and it said, men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti. Anybody ever heard that book? It's a crazy book. I'm serious. But it talks about how men are like waffles. We compartmentalize everything. We have individual sections, but we're all lumped in one big, square, even mess, right? It is the waffle. Women are like spaghetti. They just they're everywhere. They're this big conglomerate, but they're able to do a lot of things at a lot of different times. They are much more flexible than men in the fact that they can multitask that men usually cannot. Their structure is totally different. Everything about it, right? And so they compared the two and how men and women are different and how they look at things different and how they do things differently, right? So if I had to ask you, is love an action? How many of you say, yes, love is an action? Raise your hands if you think that. Raise your hands. So, whoa, one person, 2, 3. Okay, so now we got some. So I guess we should add on, what do I mean by saying love is an action?
Giving chocolates on Valentine's.
Giving chocolates on Valentine's. Is that love?
Right, somebody does
Braden?
You can physically love somebody.
So physical love?
You can do the physical action of love.
Sex.
No, not that.
That is the physical action of love,
Not
right?
what
No,
I
we're
mean.
not.
No?
We're too
I
young
mean
to
like
do that.
hugs.
We can't do that.
I'll say this.
I mean like hugs, bro. Alright.
Y'all should wait till you're married. But I can guarantee you that kids your age definitely have sex. So when you say the physical action of love, is that giving chocolate? Is that the physical action of love? Because I heard some definitions of love earlier that you're like doing things for others, right? Is that love? Go ahead.
I think that no amount of words can express love, but actions can.
So,
Body language.
okay. So you're saying that no amount of words can express love, but only through actions can love be given. Okay. Do you guys agree with that? No?
What?
Jackson, do you agree?
What? That only action.
Donovan, what do you think, man? All right, let me ask you guys this. Who here, their sibling that they care about, or maybe a parent has ever come up to you and like, I love you?
She never says that to me.
Bummer. But how does that make you feel when someone that you care about says that to you? Do you feel loved?
Yeah.
Okay, so there has to be some kind of transition of love by words, right? But what if I was like, sup, bro? Love you, dog. Now, was that love or
I was saying.
what's the difference?
It wasn't meaningful.
What?
It wasn't meaningful.
It wasn't meaningful? You saying I don't love my dude?
Like you could just be saying,
Okay.
but you don't.
So, but I gave him a hand, you know,
doesn't mean-
we dapped up. So there was action behind it.
But that doesn't mean you love him.
So again, we're trying to figure out this definition here because from what I heard, all I had to do was put action and words together and boom, I showed love. I just dapped up my homie, said I love you, bro, and walked away. Now, we tight. I have shown love. Mason, why are you not agreeing with me?
I agree with you.
Says I agree with you. Yes, Leah.
Some background noise being played real quick. So you know how we say love God,
Yes.
but you don't do anything in life. You don't pray, you don't go to church, you don't truly have faith in Him. So that actions, you can say you love somebody all you want, but it may not be genuine.
Okay. An excellently point. Well put. So we're building on this, right? Because we're wanting to build on this concept of love. And we are building on to a biblical point of love. So now we're all kind of in agreement that I can say a whole bunch of things. I can even do some things, but it still doesn't show love really, right? So if I got Stacy a gift, right? Chocolate on Valentine's. Come on, right? Fellas, you want to impress a girl, you get her a bouquet of flowers, and she's all like, oh my goodness, he's so nice, whatever, right? Does that mean, oh, he loves me?
No.
Okay. Well, I can be respectful by holding the door for her, but not buying her a bouquet of flowers. Does that mean I love her?
No.
It could be?
Could be, yeah.
What do you think, Isabel? I messed up your name again. It was purposeful. Izzy, what do you think? Sure? Have you ever had a guy give you flowers?
No.
No? Has there been guys come up to you and they say they love you?
I mean, my dad.
Do you believe your dad loves you?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know?
He's my dad.
Okay. Again, does that mean that he has to love you?
No.
Because I hate to say this, but there are family dynamics at home where you're like, no, my parents, they have to love me, but they don't show it. I hate to say it like that, but there's a lot of hurt that comes with families whenever that love is supposed to be there and it's not. And when we're talking about the subject of love here, I'm trying to get you guys to understand the point of truly what is at the core of this word that we throw around all the time, that we use all, love you, love you too, man. So what is love? Is love just an emotion? Is it an action? Is it a thought, a talk, or is it something else? Let me ask you this. Can you give love?
Yeah.
Everybody can give love?
Through prayer.
Through what?
Through prayer.
Through prayer, okay. You can give love, yes. You can give love through lots of different things, right? Can you receive love? Yeah. I saw a photo on Snapchat of Caitlin and Ezra. Ezra took her out to dinner. Come on now.
In their matching outfit.
That's right. Caitlin said something real sweet. She's like, look how nice my hubby is, or something like that, right? That was love, right? Everybody was like, oh, they're so lovely, right? So how was love shown? How was love shown?
Planned a date night.
Planned a date night. So he put some thought and effort into it, right? Maybe he put some financial compensation onto this date, right? And then she had to receive the love. Here's a hard thing too. Fellas, sometimes you'll lay it on too thick, all right, for that girl. And you just like, hey, I gave her this necklace, I bought her food, I did all these things, and I'm trying to show her I love her. And she said, ew, and like walked away. She did not receive my love. So now you're saying that love can be expressed, but yet not received? Is that possible?
Yes.
Is it possible for me to show love to someone and them not receive my love?
Yes.
No? Yeah?
That's why some people choose to not accept Jesus' love to them.
We're going to come to that. Listen here. Can love be bought?
No.
No? You sure?
Well,
Yes.
depends on the person you are.
Okay.
Like, you guys are gold digger.
A gold digger? Gold diggers buy love?
I mean, they like nice stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
Is it love?
Maybe they think it is, but really it's not.
Ah! Okay, we're on to something right here. You said maybe they think it is.
They don't know the truth.
All right, come full circle to what we talked about earlier. Everybody's perceptions and talks of love is different, right? So maybe someone says, I know they love me because they always talk to me when I need someone to talk to. Or I know that they love me because they buy me anything I ever need. So now, in that sense, is love bought? Well, I mean, sort of. So can love be sold? I'll tell you this, there's a lot of women that sell themselves and they call it love. I just want someone to love me. I just want someone to care for me. I don't care what I have to do in order for this guy or for this person to say they love me. I need that. And I'm willing to sell who I am for that. Is that love? Depends on how you look at it, right? Here's the hard thing. In our culture, and especially as teenagers, you guys are going through a lifetime where people are looking at you and everybody's looking for love, right? Something to complete them, right? I need to have that feeling, but they're looking for it in all the wrong places. Some young men who I grew up with as teenagers, when we were in high school and we were trying to progress ourselves athletically, we looked for love from our fathers because we did good in sports. I knew my dad loved me if he would just say, I'm proud of you. And so I busted myself like crazy in sports because all I wanted to hear was something not negative. I was searching for love. And so obviously, when there was this nice high school girl who, no matter if I had 8 turnovers a night, missed the goal by a mile, or sat the bench, she's like, you played so good tonight.
She's lying. You sat the bench.
That's not how I perceived love, though. And so I saw it and I was like, wow, she cares. And so when we talk about this word, love, this action, love, this perception, love, how we receive it, how we give it, is it bought, is it sold? Now I ask you this, and everyone's answer will be different. How much is it worth? How much is it worth to you?
What, love?
Love, yeah. Go ahead.
A lot.
A lot. When you define a lot, can you give me some measuring stick? How much is a lot?
I don't know how to say this.
It's okay. No worries. A lot. How much?
My whole life, basically.
Your whole life.
For the love of God.
For the love of someone specifically, meaning you're saying for love, if you would receive love from God, it's worth everything. Okay. What else? How much is love to you? Huh? How much? How much? How much? You won't even look at me.
Barely anything. Because I feel like everybody that has once told me they were going to betray me or did something to me, so it can mean different things and people could fake it, so it's not really means that much.
Thank you for sharing. Hey, that ain't easy to share. And I know there's others in the room who have that same feeling. Love just ain't what it used to be. Someone could say, oh, sure, they could say to my face they love me. Then they could post on social media how bad I am. Is that love? Do I believe them? Do I trust them? Is it worth it? Yeah, my parents, they feed me and stuff, but do they love me? Do they support me? Do they actually tell me that they care? My friends, who I call my friends, how do I know that when they say, I love you, that it's not just another phrase? John chapter 14, verse 23 and 24. You're in the book of John. Turn it over there. John chapter 14, verses 23 and 24 says this. Jesus replied, if anyone loves me, he will obey my teachings. My Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him. He who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. Jesus is very clear. He's like, if you love me, you'll obey my teachings. You'll do what I've asked of you. There will be that action behind it that can't be dissuaded, right? When we're talking about love as an action, you're going to put your money where your mouth is. If you truly love me, and I say I love you, then that means my life will reflect that in everything I do. That means if I'm wrong, if I did something wrong, I'm going to admit I'm wrong and apologize and try to make things right because I love you. If I care about you truly, then yeah, I'll check in, see how you're doing. I'll encourage you. But also, that means I'll challenge you. If I love you, that means I'm going to correct you when you're being an idiot. Why? Because I care about you that much. I'm okay if you don't like me and I'm trying to save your life. Why? Because I love you. There's a difference, right? Now it's not about, I'm not looking at you just because of your outside or because of how long we've been friends. Or no, I'm looking at you because I say, I see where you could be. I'm looking past your faults and your failures and your insecurities, and I'm looking at what you could become. And I love you, and I want the best for you, and I'm going to strive to get you there. right? That's why, as a pastor, it's so hard for me to look at kids and they're like, well, I don't think drinking's wrong, Pastor Will. And so they go get plastered on a Friday night. What do? I look at them and say, you're an idiot. Pastor, you're supposed to love me. I do. That's why you're an idiot. I have made a lot of people mad at me in my day. Does it change how much I care for them? Not a bit. Not a single bit. But they didn't receive my love. You see, you can care about people and you can say things to people and they can still look at you and hate your guts for it. This is hard. Love is hard. When it's true and when it's real, man, this ain't no cakewalk. And the best example of love is Jesus. If we're coming full circle to the prime example of love, I look at the Good Shepherd of John 10. I look at Jesus' words. He said, look, the Good Shepherd cares for his sheep. That means he's looking at them, and if a wolf comes, he's not going to run away from it. He's going to fight for you. A hired hand, they see the wolf and they're like, I ain't about to get eaten. Those sheep are fine. And they leave. And the sheep get devoured. That's like the friend who says, oh, I'm with you. And then something hard comes and they're like, see ya. You were never with me. You were just there. Jesus says, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to show you what love really is. And likewise, I want you to show others what love is. John 15. Everybody turn to John 15. Should be right there with you. We're going to start in verse 12. All right? So John chapter 15, starting in verse 12. All right? This is going to be hard to stomach for some of you. So listen closely. John 15, verse 12 through 19 says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has none than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, but a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command, love each other. And if the world hates you, keep in mind it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Anybody ever been hated? Feels terrible. As a people person, I really, really wanted to be liked. As a people person, I still really, really want to be liked. I love it when they're all like, oh, Pastor Will, you're the greatest. I'm over here like, nope, in my heart. And I'm like, all right, no pride. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm also hated. And I got to be like, that's okay. I have to be okay with not being everyone's best friend. Because if I love people, I will love them through their hate. Which means even the person that hates me, the person that cusses me out, the person who rejects me, the person who talks badly about me, my job is to love them. Love them unconditionally. That means with my words, with my actions. As we're defining love, that means it is my job to pray for them, to watch over them. That if the wolf comes to destroy them, it is my job to step in and defend them. Y'all, how crazy would it be, okay? Listen, this is going to be a weird scenario, okay? But hear me out. Gavin and Dalton, come up here real quick. All right? Okay, so you guys go to public school. You know what fights are, right? They break out in an instant. Everybody's like, oh, fight, right? So what if Dalton and me got into a skirmish, right? A fight. And we're throwing hands, right? And now Gavin is Dalton's friend, right? So Gavin's coming in and Gavin's about to punch me, right? And Dalton goes, wait! And like stops Gavin and like puts his face in front to block me, right? I'm over here and I'm fighting him and I'm like, what are you doing, right? This is the example, right? I am mad at Dalton, right? And so we're going at it. I am his enemy. And someone who tries to intervene, Dalton says, no, don't hurt him. What? Thank you, guys. Go sit down. Listen. This is as crazy as it sounds, because this is what Jesus asks for us. Love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. It doesn't make sense because it is the law of love. Love means, Dalton looks at me and says, man, he's hurt. He's confused, he's broken, and he needs help. So now Dalton's going to take all of my anger and hate and pain towards him, and he's going to say, I'm going to hold that on me, and I'm going to stop others from jumping in. This is what Jesus did for you. Jesus looked at you and me, all of us, and he said, oh my gosh, they're hurting. When I think about love, guys, think about this. A man who didn't even, he was nowhere near us, right? 2,000 years ago he died. He knows you by name. But you're not with him. You don't physically see him, right? And he died for you. He died for me. Oh my gosh, guys. This guy who I only read about in books and understand through the Holy Spirit, he died for me, and I lie, I cheat, I've stolen, I've done horrendous things, hurtful things towards him. And I still do. Listen to me. I am not perfect. No one in this room is perfect, okay? We have all done terrible things to God. Whether we meant to or didn't mean to, we've all sinned. Romans is very clear. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. All of us. Your pastor has fallen short. And yet God demonstrates his love. It says in Romans 5:8, but God demonstrates his love through this, that while we were sinners, Christ died for us. It's the greatest love ever shown. He said that you're worth more than anything. He looked at you and said, you are the most valuable person on the face of the earth. And you can hate me, you cannot receive my love, and I will still die for you. Wow. It's unreal. When you sit there and you look at your life and you think about that and you think about all the examples of love that we've talked about and all the things that we've said is love, and then you think about someone who does not care about any of the wrong you've ever done and will still care for you, it just doesn't even seem possible in my mind. I have hurt people before. Physically, I have hurt people with my words, emotionally. Some to where the relationship is never the same. They will not speak to me. They can't forgive me. There's no way I could ever express love to them again. And then I look at my relationship with God and I think, oh my Lord, I have hurt you. For years and years I have hurt you. And you look at me and love me. And you love me unconditionally. How can it be? So we're going to break into small groups. We're going to have guys on one side and girls on the other side. And there's going to be 3 questions that I want you guys to ask each other. Leaders, if you want to write them down, you can. We're going to have the leaders, females on one side and guys on the other side. Or we'll split and go into different rooms if we need to. But the 3 questions are this. First one is, where did you learn about love before today? Before I told you about this love of Christ, this biblical love, where was your teacher of love? Second, kind of follow-up question to that is, what was your first example of love? So those questions kind of go hand in hand. Where was your first example of love that you can remember? Maybe it's from someone. Maybe it was a false love. Maybe it was something that, this was my first example of what I thought love was, and it wasn't. Second question is this. What is the world's perception of love? Because here in this youth group, right, we can talk about it, and I can instruct you from the Word, I can tell you the truth, but you will leave here and you will go back to the world. You will leave and get back on your phone to Snapchat, and the world is right there. And their perception of love is vastly different than the Bible's perception. Okay? And in your own minds, you may be trying to think, what's my concept of love? Because now you've heard something that may be totally different than what you've ever been taught. Like, I hear what you're saying, Pastor, but I don't know if I could love like that. Well, I can't. I certainly can't love like that. I need Jesus. If Jesus is not the one loving through me, there ain't no way in my human self I could ever love like that. Couldn't do it. I know I couldn't. I know myself. I was a problem as a child. A problem child, right? And I needed Jesus to fix this mess. I could not love without Jesus. And the final question is this. What is your new perception of love? Because how you view love will be how you show love. Okay? How you internalize and view love, how you have an understanding of it, is how you'll show it.